So guys, as you know, this week marks the 10th anniversary of the U.S. invasion of Iraq. But sadly, you wouldn't know if you're just watching the corporate media, because instead of apologizing for their complicity in helping to sell the Iraq war, they're too busy beating the war drums for the next two. Just check out this screenshot from my show just last night. As I was covering Colin Powell's lies to the UN 10 years ago, CNN was speculating about chemical weapons in Syria, and at the same time, Fox was fear-mongering about Iran's non-existent nuclear weapons program. Man, that cartoon bomb just never gets old, does it? But in case you've been tuned out, let me fill you in. Take a look.
And to Syria now, where the Assad regime and rebel forces are both accusing one another of using chemical weapons. Syrian state media claimed yesterday that opposition forces, those rebel forces, launched a chemical attack in Aleppo province, killing at least 24 people, injuring more than 100 people.
Other violence to talk about. Syria's government and opposition are trading accusations tonight about the use of chemical weapons. President Obama has characterized such activity as crossing a red line that theoretically would lead to harsh consequences.
But of course, the latest hot topic is an all too familiar one: chemical weapons. You know, it's fascinating. The media seems to do nothing but speculate about their existence or whether or not the Assad regime has even used them. But despite all this uncertainty, the chemical weapons hysteria has been leading the corporate news coverage. But Syria's possible weapon of mass destruction is not the only source of national security fear induced by the corporate press. Of course, we can't forget about the big other scary beast in the Middle East. See for yourself.
America has issued a blunt new warning tonight to Iran about nuclear weapons. And ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz is in the Middle East to tell us what happened tonight and what it means.
On Iran, international sanctions are affecting the Iranian people, but not impacting the nuclear program.
The sanctions are having a huge impact on Iran. At least to this point, it is the sanctions thus far have not induced a change in Iranian government policy.
There may be some disagreements on how far Iran is along, but on the fundamental question, do the Israelis trust that President Obama would, if necessary, use the military option? He says they're shoulder to shoulder.
You know, it's astonishing that on the 10th anniversary of a preemptive invasion of a sovereign nation based on known lies, we're seeing the exact same thing happen all over again, beating the same war tune to the same war drums, using the exact same propaganda. And in the rare instances of the media admitting their complicity in bolstering the Bush administration's unfounded claims about Iraq, they simply say, we were all duped, the American people and us, and we're sorry. But perhaps the biggest weapon of mass distraction of all is that we weren't all duped. Just think back to the millions of people in this country and around the world that mobilized the biggest anti-war opposition since Vietnam prior to the Iraqi invasion. But they didn't listen. The truth of the matter is that the media wasn't hoodwinked at all. It had a set agenda to fill, the agenda of war. And in a society that runs on perpetual warfare, the corporate media functions as nothing more than an apparatus in which the wars can be sold. Let's not let them get away with it again, because they can't keep selling it if we're not buying it.